In this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through the process of modeling a drill press in Autodesk Inventor. Of course, a real drill press is made of lots of different parts, so we would normally make each part in its own file, then bring them together into an assembly file later. But for this exercise, we're just going to be making the drill press as one big part to practice a handful of 3D modeling tools. Mostly we're going to be practicing using the shell, revolve, and circular pattern tools, as well as a few different variations on the basic extrude tools. Let's get started. To begin, create a new part file and perform a file save as. Save this file in the DDP Guided Modeling class folder as drillpress_last name. When you see the file name change at the top of the screen, you're ready to model. Create a 2D sketch on the top-facing XZ plane. Then correct the orientation so you're sketching right side up on the top view. Select the two-point center rectangle tool and place the center at the origin point of your sketch. Then enter a width of 10 inches, click Tab on your keyboard and enter a height of 14 inches. Finish the sketch, then extrude the profile to a thickness of 0.5 inches. Click the Fillet tool and change the fillet radius to 2 inches. Then select the front two edges of the base and click Apply. Change the fillet radius to 0.75 inches, then click the back two edges of the base and click Apply. Now create a new 2D sketch on the top surface of the base. Select the Project Geometry tool from the Create panel and click the top surface of the base. Now click the tool Offset and select the yellow perimeter that was projected onto your sketch. Drag your mouse to the inside and type a distance of 0.25 inches, then Finish Sketch. Click Extrude, then select your profile and type a distance of 1 inch. But before clicking OK, click the tab More at the top of the Extrude window. Here you can type in a taper angle for your extrusion. Type -10 degrees and click OK. Select the Fillet tool and change the fillet radius to 0.125 inches. Then select the top, inside, and middle edges of the base and click Apply. At this point, I'm going to click View and change my visual style from shaded with edges to just shaded. Now it's time to use the Shell tool on our base. This tool hollows out your model and assigns a thickness to the walls left over. It can also remove selected surfaces. Click Shell, then click the bottom surface of the part to remove it. Type in a shell thickness of 0.25 inches and click OK. Create a new 2D sketch on top of your base and select the tool Center to Center Slot. Place the first center point on the center created by the large fillet in the front left corner, then place your second center 6 inches directly above and set your diameter to 0.5 inches. Use the Line tool to draw a vertical line from the origin point of the sketch straight down a short distance, then click the Mirror tool in the Pattern panel and select your slot. Click Mirror Line and select the vertical line, and click Apply to copy your slot onto the right side of the base. Click Finish Sketch, then extrude both slots down through the base as a cut. These slots would be used to bolt the drill press down to a workbench. Now would be a good time to apply color to your base. I'm going to make my base cast iron, but then select the outer surfaces to get a metallic blue color. You can select and deselect specific surfaces by holding the Control key on your keyboard while you click. There, now the base is looking good. This is a good time to save your work. The next step is to make the post that holds the rest of the drill press up. Create a 2D sketch on the top of the base, then draw a 3-inch diameter circle near the back. Vertically align the circle's center point with the midpoint of the base and dimension the center of the circle to be 3 inches from the back edge. Now you can finish this sketch and extrude the circle up 24 inches. I'm going to color my post to be brushed stainless steel. The next step is to create the table of the drill press, and to do this we need a new work plane to sketch on. Select the plane tool, then click the top of the post and the top of the base to create a midplane between them. Create a new 2D sketch on this plane. The F7 key on your keyboard will temporarily remove the part of the post that's in front of your sketch so you can see your whole work surface. Click Project Geometry, then click on the circle of the post. Now sketch a 3-inch diameter circle starting at the same center point and a 4-inch diameter circle on top of that. Next, select the 2-point center rectangle tool and click along the vertical center of the sketch to place the center. Dimension your rectangle to be 8 inches wide by 12 inches high. Then dimension the center of the rectangle to be 7 inches down from the center of the post. Use the trim tool to trim away the line segments separating the round profile from the rectangle. Then finish sketch and extrude the table down 1.5 inches from the work plane. At this point, you can turn off the visibility of the plane by right-clicking its edge and unchecking its visibility. Using the fillet tool and a 0.75-inch radius, round over the edges of the table and the interior edges where it meets the sleeve around the post. Click the lower corner of your view cube to view the drill press from below. Create a 2D sketch on the underside of the table, then click F7 to temporarily remove the base from view. Using a 2-point rectangle, draw a box from the lower left radius center to the upper right radius center. Use the 2D fillet tool to put a 0.125-inch radius on each corner of the rectangle and then click Finish Sketch. Extrude this profile up 1 inch into the table as a cut. Put another 0.125-inch fillet on the inside corner around the edge of the new extrusion. Now place a new 2D sketch on the top surface of the table. With the Center to Center Slot tool, draw 2 vertical slots for mounting a vise onto. Dimension 5 inches between the centers of the slots, and set a diameter of 0.5 inches. Dimension the bottom center points of the slots to be 1.5 inches from the side edges of the table and 2 inches from the front edge. Finally, sketch a 0.75-inch diameter circle centered vertically on the table, and dimension its center to be 9 inches below the center of the post. Click Finish Sketch, then extrude both slots and the hole down through the table as a cut. We're almost done with this part, but first let's apply some color. I'm going to go with cast iron again for my table, but I'm going to apply that metallic blue to the outer surfaces, and the top surface of my table is going to be polished chrome. Now would be a great time to save your work. Now let's model the motor on the back side of the post. Click 2D Sketch, then from the model browser select the YZ origin plane that runs front to back through the drill press. Using the 2-point rectangle tool, sketch a rectangle starting at the back corner of the post and dimension it to be 3 inches wide by 8 inches high. Place a 1-inch radius fillet on the 2 left side corners of the rectangle. Click Finish Sketch, then use the Revolve tool to revolve the profile around its own right edge. I'm going to apply a dark gray color to my motor. Give your model a quick save, then we're ready to model the head of the drill press. Create a 2D sketch on top of the post. Use the 2-point center rectangle tool to sketch a rectangle that's vertically aligned with the post center. Dimension the rectangle to be 6 inches wide and 20 inches high. and place a 6-inch dimension between the back edge of the rectangle and the back edge of the drill press base. Then click Finish Sketch. Extrude your sketch up 4 inches, but click the More tab and enter a taper angle of 20 degrees. Click OK, then create a new sketch on top of this new feature. Sketch a 2-point rectangle from the top corner to the bottom one, then Finish Sketch and click Extrude again, but this time set the extrusion distance to 3 inches and the taper angle to -20 degrees, and click OK. I'm going to apply the same metallic blue color to the head of the drill press that I used on the base and table. And now is a good time to save. The next move is going to be to create the handle on the right side of the drill press. To begin, create a new 2D sketch on the YZ origin plane, and click F7 to reveal your sketch. Then place a 1.5-inch diameter circle vertically aligned with the origin point of your sketch, and dimension it to be 27 inches up from the bottom of the model. Click Finish Sketch, then extrude the circle 5 inches to the right side of the drill press. Be sure this extrusion is a join, not a cut. Create your next 2D sketch on the end of this post. Sketch a 1.5-inch diameter circle with the same center point as the post, then Finish Sketch and extrude the circle 1.5 inches with a 20-degree taper. Create another 2D sketch on the end of this part and sketch another circle the same size as the existing one. Extrude this circle 0.75 inches with a -30-degree taper angle. Now we need to put some handles onto this post, and to do that we're going to need a new special work plane. Create a 2D sketch on the end of the post and draw a short vertical line tangent to the edge of the circle, and click Finish Sketch. We'll need this line to create our new work plane. From the drop-down menu under the Plane tool, select Tangent to Surface through Edge. Click the line you just made, then click the last curved, tapered surface you created, and this will place your new work plane at just the right angle. You can now turn off the visibility of your extra sketch by right-clicking on it in the model browser and unchecking its visibility. Create a new 2D sketch on the work plane you created. Sketch a 0.375-inch diameter circle with its center horizontally aligned to the origin point of the sketch. Dimension the circle to be 0.8 inches away from the center of the post and click Finish Sketch. Click Extrude and select the circle, but change the direction of the extrusion from direction 1 to asymmetric. Enter a depth of 0.75 inches into the post and 8 inches out of the post, then click OK. You're done with your custom work plane now, so you can turn off its visibility. Create a new sketch on the flat end of this handle. Draw a 1-inch diameter circle with its center on the center of the sketch, then sketch a vertical line directly through the center of the circle, and trim away half of the curve with the trim tool. Click Finish Sketch, then select the Revolve tool. Choose the semicircle as your profile, then select the vertical line as your axis, and revolve the semicircle to make a ball at the end of the handle. Instead of repeating this process 2 more times to make the other handles, we're going to use the Circular Pattern tool instead. Select the Circular Pattern tool from the Pattern panel, then select both the 8-inch post and the ball as your features. Select the outer tapered surface as your work axis, and change the number of placements to 3 and click OK. Now we can add some color. I'm going to apply brushed stainless steel to my post, polished chrome to my handles, and dark gray to the balls at the end of the handles. We're one step closer. Now it's time to save. For our next addition, let's add the spindle and chuck to the drill press. Create a 2D sketch on the underside of the drill press head. Sketch a circle that's horizontally aligned with the center of the post. Dimension its diameter to be 1.5 inches, and dimension its center to be 9 inches away from the center of the post. If you remember, this is the same distance that we made the hole in the table from the post, which is important because it means that the drill bit will always travel through the hole in the table. Finish your sketch and extrude the circle 3 inches down from the bottom of the head. Place your next sketch on the YZ origin plane. Starting from the bottom midpoint of the spindle, draw a horizontal line 1 inch to the left, then a vertical line 1.5 inches down, and another horizontal line 0.25 inches to the right. Draw the next line at a downward angle. Type 0.25 inches for the distance, then click Tab and type 110 degrees for the angle. Notice which edge your sketch is referring to provide the angle. If the reference edge is different in your sketch than it is in mine, you may need to figure out what angle you need to type to end up with the same line. Next, go 0.25 inches to the right, and then draw another angled line at the same angle as the last, but at a length of 0.75 inches. Return to the starting point and draw a vertical line down to the same height as your last line, and connect the endpoints with a horizontal line. Finish the sketch, then use the revolve tool to revolve the profile around the longest vertical line. We'll need to model the gear teeth used to open and close the chuck, and to do this, we need a new work plane. Under the Plane Tool drop-down menu, select Tangent to Surface, Parallel to Plane. Click the curved edge of the chuck, then click the XY origin plane, and you should see a new work plane show up that's tangent to the curve you selected and parallel to the XY plane. Create a 2D sketch on this plane. Use the line tool to draw a trapezoid shape like this one, starting on the bottom edge of the chuck. Dimension the sketch to be 0.1 inch on the bottom, 0.05 inches on the top, and 0.05 inches in height. Then use the vertical constraint to align the midpoints of the top and bottom lines, and to align the midpoint with the midpoint of the sketch. Click Finish Sketch, then extrude the trapezoid 0.25 inches into the chuck as a cut. Select the Circular Pattern tool from the Pattern panel, and choose this extrusion as the feature to be patterned. Select the outer edge of the chuck as your rotational axis, and type 40 under the Placement section to repeat the extrusion 40 times. With this, our spindle is almost done. I'm going to make all my spindle features brushed stainless steel, then change just the outer surface of my chuck to cast iron. Now would be a great time to save your work. Our drill press is really shaping up. Next, let's add an on-off switch to the front of the machine. Place a 2D sketch on the lower front surface of the drill press head. Use the 2-point center rectangle tool to draw a rectangle 3 inches wide by 1.5 inches high with its center vertically aligned to the midpoint of the sketch surface. Click the Offset tool, then click the rectangle, and drag your mouse toward the middle. Enter an offset distance of 0.125 inches. Draw another rectangle with the same center point as the last one, but dimension its width to be 0.125 and its height to be 1.25 inches. Finally, delete or trim away the line segments separating the new rectangle from the old one, and finish the sketch. Select the thin outline as your profile and extrude it 0.75 inches with a -3 degree taper angle. At At this point, I'm going to color the extrusion dark gray before I make the buttons. To make the buttons, create a new 2D sketch on the same flat surface as last time, and draw a 2-point center rectangle that's centered in the left space. Dimension the rectangle into a square that measures 1.125 inches high by 1.125 inches wide. Repeat this shape on the right. Finish your sketch, then click the Extrude tool. Select both squares as your profiles, then extrude them out 0.85 inches. Place a 0.125 inch fillet radius around all of the edges of both buttons. At this point, I'm going to color my on button green and my off button red. Finally, I'll add the on-off text to the buttons. Create a 2D sketch on the top surface of the button. Then use the text tool to write on. Set the height of the text to 0.3 inches and center the text in the window. Repeat the text tool on the other button, but this time type off, and once again center the text in the window and change its height to 0.3 inches. Now use the horizontal constraint and select the top corner of both text boxes to align them. Use the vertical constraint to vertically align the midpoints of the text boxes with the midpoints of the buttons. This should align your text perfectly from left to right. Drag your text boxes up or down to vertically align them until they appear centered. Finish the sketch, then select the Emboss tool. Choose both text boxes as your profile, and be sure that the Emboss tool is set to Emboss from Face and Direction 1. Enter 0.05 inches as your distance, change the color from black to white, and click OK. Congratulations, your drilled press is just about complete. For a finishing touch, put your own logo on the top front surface of the head. Create a 2D sketch on the surface, then draw a 2-point center rectangle that is centered in the drawing space. Dimension the rectangle to 2 inches high by 5 inches wide with a 0.125 inch fillet radius in the corners. Finish sketch and extrude the rectangle 0.05 inches. I'm going to apply my polished chrome color to the plate before moving on. Next, create a 2D sketch on the plate and use the text tool to enter the name of your own tool company. Set your font and letter size to something you like, and when it looks good, finish the sketch. Click Emboss, select your text, and raise the letters by another 0.05 inches with a color you like for your logo. I'm going to use dark gray to keep with my color scheme. Great job! Be sure to save your finished model. Hopefully now you know a thing or two about the shell and circular pattern tools, as well as a few different ways you can revolve and extrude things. Thanks for watching.